Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to ARTQuest Academy. So this is the basic class on fashion illustration. So I've done my 9 inches long vertical line in the midline. And now for the first space, that's the first inch, I'll make a 0.5 mark in the middle and then draw a 2 centimeter line from one end to the other, 1 centimeter to the left, 1 centimeter to the right, to form the skull. So for the face region, it will be 0.8, then 0.1 for the left ear, and 0.1 for the right ear. Then I'll connect the dots. And that makes the skull. Then we'll move to the second space. Now before we go on, let's number the space. Space 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then the lines, we're making a 9/8 fashion croquis. So it's pronounced croquis because it's a French word. Then we'll also number the lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we're starting from the top of the head, we're going to have 10 lines. So 10 lines, 9 spaces. And the 10th line is going to be the base of the feet. Right, so this is going to be the skeletal form. We'll start with the skeletal form. Which is the frame on which the model is drawn. Now we'll move to the second space. So that's going to take the neck and the shoulder and the upper chest. So just like we divided the first space, we also divide that into 2 along the vertical axis. That will be 0. We'll make a mark at the 0.5 inch. Then horizontally, we're going to measure in centimeter. So horizontal dimensions are in centimeter, vertical dimensions are in inches. So the height of the model is 9 inches. That's why it's called 9/8. And then horizontally, we make our dimensions in centimeter. Across is 0.8 for the face, then 0.1 for the left, 0.1 for the right ear, to make a total of 2 centimeters from one ear to the other. So 0.8 centimeter for the face, 0.1 for one ear, 0.1 for the other ear. Total of 2 centimeters for the skull. That is the width of the skull. And by principle, if the shoulder line is times 2 of the width of the skull. So since for this drawing, for this training, we're making the width of our skull to be 2 centimeters, then our shoulder line will be 4 centimeters. So in the midline, we divide it into half. That will be 0.5 inches, inch, and then we'll make 4 centimeter horizontal line. We'll draw it. So since it's times 2, the size of the skull, and the size of the skull, the width of the skull is 2 centimeter, then the shoulder line will be 4 centimeter. 2 centimeter on the left, 2 centimeter on the right. So that forms the shoulder line. So the next point is going to be the waistline, which is on line 4. It's also the navel line. So it's the same as the width of the skull. So that will also be 2 centimeter. 1 centimeter to the left, 1 centimeter to the right. The skull, the waist, the knee, and the base of the feet, they have the same proportion. So if one is 2, the other will also be 2. They are equal in proportion, while the shoulder and the hip line are times 2 of the skull, the waist, the knee, and the base of feet. So like I said, the next point is the hip line. So the hip line and the shoulder line are the same proportion, and they are times 2 that of the skull and the waist. So hip line will also be 4 centimeter, just like the shoulder, 2 centimeter to the left, 2 to the right. So I make my dots and I connect them. I connect the dots. Then I join the waist to the hip joint. So this is the typical hourglass shape of a model. If the shoulder is wider than the hip, then you have an inverted triangle body shape. If the hip is wider than the shoulder, you have a pear body shape. But the standard should be an hourglass shape for a fashion model. So depending on the client you're designing for, you can decide to tweak the proportions to fit the size of your client. So 4 centimeter for shoulder, 2 centimeter for waist, 4 centimeter for the hip. Now we'll move on to the knee. That's the next anatomical landmark, and that's on line 7. So the thigh is occupied by 2 spaces, spaces 5 and 6, bounded by lines 5 to the top and line 7 below. So spaces 5 and 6 comprises of the thigh region. So the next point is going to be the knee line, which is on line 7. So that will also be the same as the waist, which is 2 centimeter, 1 centimeter on either side. And then we'll connect the hip joint to the knee joint on both sides, to the left, and then we'll connect to the right. Alright, we have the tie there. Then we'll move on to the leg, the lower leg. So that's also 2 centimeter, just like the waist. So to recap, the knee, the waist, the skull, and the base of the feet, they are the same proportion. And for this joint, we're making them 2 centimeter. While the hip and the shoulder lines are double their proportion, and that makes them 4 centimeter. So line 9 will be the ankle line, 2 centimeter. Right, the ankle line is half the knee line. So that would be, the width of the ankle is half the width of the knee. So since our knees are 2 centimeter for this particular joint, in proportion, the ankle is going to be 1 centimeter. It's going to be halved. That will be 1 centimeter. And then remember, the base of the feet or the toe line is the same as the width of the knee, the width of the waist, and the width of the skull. So that's also going to be 2 centimeter, 1 centimeter to the left, 1 centimeter to the right of the midline. And so the last space, which is space 9, we'll take the feet, the left and right feet. Alright, so that forms the central skeletal form, and then we'll move on to the arm, the hand, and the hand, comprising of the 5 fingers. So the circles represent the joint, and then the shoulder, the hip, and the knee joints are relatively the same size, while the ankle and the wrist, they are smaller because they are distal joints, they are terminal joints. So navel and waistline also coincides with the elbow line. So for this joint, we're going to make it 1.5 centimeter away from the waist. So our elbow point is going to be 1.5 centimeter away. There's no one rule to this. It just depends on how close you want your hand to be to the body. But this 1.5 centimeter seems like a good fit. It's close enough to stand in profile, but not so close. There's still room for us to add the body form when we are building it up later. So for the thigh region, we divide it into 2 parts, the upper thigh and the lower thigh. The upper part is space 5, the lower thigh is space 6. So for the upper thigh, which is space 5, we'll further divide it into 3 parts. So we have 3 subdivisions for the upper thigh. So space 5, which is the upper thigh, is further divided into 3 parts. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Now, the significance of this is it determines where the wrist joint is going to be and where the crouch line. So the wrist line is also where the crouch line will be, and it's slightly below the hip line. It's along the line dividing the first and the middle third. 1.5 centimeter, the elbow away from the wrist, away from the waist, and then for the wrist, we make it 1 centimeter away from the body. Model is standing at a light, like a soldier would stand on a parade ground. And so that makes the skeletal form. So the middle third and the lower third makes up the hand. So that's it for the skeletal form.